What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special on-site episode of the Fans View podcast. I am sitting here next to none other than former WWE superstar turned barista, model, mother, wife. She does everything, people. Everything other than, well, I don't know. Everything. First and foremost, Macey, how are you doing today?
Incredible. Wouldn't change a thing. My days are awesome. My mornings are bright, and my nights are long and hard.
I love that. I love that. So we're just going to jump right into it. You've traveled the world with the WWE. You've traveled this country back and forth. What is it about sleepy little Beaufort, South Carolina that you decided, you know what, this is where I'm going to put down roots?
I love how slow it is. Like I said, the mornings are different. It's very, very relaxing. I don't like the fast city life, so I wouldn't change it for the world. Obviously, this is where I went to boot camp for the United States Marine Corps. This is where I became a Marine. And you said it perfect when you said slow and sleepy town. We get a little bit of traffic here and there because of the Marine Corps graduation. You could hear the weapons firing off during training, which I love. The jets fly over and they're loud as hell. And I think this is a perfect place to raise children.
Yeah, I mean, this community really is something special when you're a part of it. And being a part of it, that leads me to my very next question. We are actually inside your beautiful cafe. That was just a little tiny, building when you first bought it. But now, I mean, and you guys are going to see it. This place is gorgeous. What inspired you to open Sunny Summers Cafe?
Well, a lot of different things. First and foremost, I started drinking coffee at a very young age, had a rough childhood, as everyone knows. I speak on that all the time in hopes to, uplift young kids that are going through it to realize that you could be anything that you want to be, regardless where you come from, and to let parents know and just remind them to change if they have to, get help and get sober, and so that way the babies don't have to live live ways they shouldn't have to, right?
Absolutely.
So I started drinking coffee at a very young age to get myself up and get myself going. And I feel like this, and it sounds weird, but I feel like the smell of coffee reminds me of even my darkest, most tired days. And even at 12, I would go in the kitchen before school. I'd make me that cup of coffee so I can get the hell out of that house and get to school and get to practice and keep freaking going. Love my family to death, but, they struggled with mental health and addiction. And I chose the coffee over the alcohol and the drugs, and the coffee over the terrible mindsets that you could easily get mashed into because you don't know any better. So then when my mom actually just hit over 2 years sober, and I was invited to her 1 year coin ceremony, and I also took her to a few of her classes AA
Right.
meetings, and it was just in dark, damp churches, like in the basement, which I'm very thankful for.
Right.
I'm not shitting on them or anything. Very, very thankful that they provided that. But I was like, man, I'm very big on affirmations and the color yellow and the sunshine and just uplifting,
Right.
surrounding yourself with either uplifting people, uplifting verbiage, uplifting surroundings in every way that you possibly can. So I was like, man, if I could create a place that alcoholics or people who are struggling can come, and the minute they walk in, they feel happy, just a little bit, rather it be something they read, the lights, the color therapy, the scent therapy, the lavender scents, the coffee scents, and then provide free AA, like it's open to the public. You come in and you find that group and you find that sobriety within an uplifting yellow bright cafe that has little words everywhere you possibly look. And as you said,
Yeah.
they will take a little peek down. Even if you're hanging your head and you're looking at the floor, even embedded in our floors are reminders to keep freaking going, that life is hard, but you are harder. So I wanted to create that. And then obviously mix it with the coffee that helped my ass push through even at a young age. It was just a dream. So I did it. I created it. I actually was finalizing it probably the last 2 years of my WWE career. I knew what I wanted. I knew where I was
Right.
going. Love the WWE, which I'm sure we'll touch on. But I want happiness, and I want to be able to give back. And it's just really hard to do when you're in that business.
Yeah. Being on the road 200 plus days a year doesn't leave a lot of room for outreach. And that's such a beautiful answer, because that was, honestly, you took the words right out of my mouth. And my next question is, what do you look to accomplish? Obviously, you want to serve delicious coffee, great donuts, which they are. Take it from a chubby guy. But more than that, what do you hope to accomplish, with Sunny Summers Cafe?
I just want to remind people that you have every 24 hours, and you don't even got to think about it in a week or a month, just the next 24 hours that you have the ability to make it the best 24 hours mentally, physically, emotionally that you possibly can. One coffee at a time, one positive word at a time, one paragraph in a book. It doesn't matter. It's a mindset. It's a change in routine in the way that you look at life, your gratitude. Because I learned that. I kind of cracked the code, I think, at a very young age. People always ask me, well, how did you make it out? How did you not get addicted? And how did you realize how to put your best foot forward in every way, not only as an athlete, but as a mom, as a wife, as a human being, as a woman? And it's mindset. It's the routine. It's something called neuroplasticity, which I won't get into because I'm sure that's not what you're.
Google that, folks.
Please do. It's how you reprogram your brain, and everybody could do it. Reprogram your brain and how to think different, how to move different, how to believe different. And it's crazy how powerful that is. My goal is, for an example, we started a youth AA class. It's new. It's only a couple months old, but if you guys saw my cameras on how full that class is, it'll bring tears to your eyes to know that there are young people out there who want better for themselves and for their kids and for their parents. And it's really cool that I created a place that they can come to sit down and get better out of life, get better out of their mind. Is really cool. And then we also have like a free Take What You Need program, and there was over 15 tickets, which, if you don't know, it's like kind of like a pay it forward. You can buy a ticket, purchase it in full, and stick it on the board, and anybody that comes in who needs a meal or a coffee or a donut, whatever the next person bought, it's free. And there was 15 up there in the last 2 weeks. So, wow. And now there's only 3. So that's working. There are people that can come in here that need help. Rather it's just a pick-me-up, rather it's some of the resources that we have on every table. And then another little cool thing is I know that it's working because for not only that, but I got a knock. I was closed one day, and there was a knock on the door, and it was a disheveled woman. You could tell she was exhausted. And so I opened it, and she's like, I just got out of jail. They just released her. She goes, I'm really hungry, and I was told that I could come here. And It took everything in me not to freaking cry. Like, I was trying to be strong, hold it back. And I was like, so she's only been out of jail long enough to walk with her flip-flops from the jailhouse to here. She still had her paperwork in her hand, and like a little trash bag. And this was the first place she came so she could get a bite to eat. And I'm not going to cry. I hate So I was like, absolutely. And I showed her our wall. I said, pick what you want, take a seat. And then she went to the bathroom, and she was in there for a while. Her meal was ready, and I said, hey, I knocked on it because that's who I am. Like, hey, you've been in there a while. Like, your freaking food's done, honey. And so she goes, I'm coming. And then she opened the door, and there was just tears in her eyes. And
I'm trying not to cry, and I'm not even a crier.
She like kind of hung her head. I said, you read something in there you needed to hear, didn't you? And she said, yep. And then she went and sat down, and she enjoyed her meal. So I don't know where she is today, but I know for that one moment that she came across something that we created here at the cafe that reminded her strength, and that she has the power to change her life. So she ate her meal, and so little things like that that is so freaking cool that this is what I get to do every day. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful story. I'm not a crier. Wow. I don't even know how to follow up that question. That's really, this is such a beautiful place because, and you might not even know it, I live about 45, 50 minutes away, and my brother-in-law is actually a drug and alcohol counselor. I've heard about this place through him. So this place is making a difference, even when you don't realize it. So obviously, community outreach is it's the fabric of this cafe. Specifically, drug and alcohol rehabilitation, addiction. Can you talk? I know you've talked about it before, almost ad nauseum, but can you touch on your upbringing and why you're so passionate about that specific area?
I mean, honestly, it's just because of what I went through as a kid with drug and alcohol, the domestic, the fighting, the abuse. And it took me a long time to realize that it was a mental health issue more so than anything, and that the drug and alcohol was kind of like the band-aids to respond to that. So I'm a huge promoter in therapy. Whatever you have to do to admit that there is an issue, there's an underlying issue, and get help for that. I've had to go. I'm straight edge. God has really put me on a path to ensure that I continue to choose coffee over alcohol, because addiction runs in families, trauma, mental health, all those issues. And to be able to break the cycle means a lot to me, and I've said that probably in every interview I've ever had, because it is important. Because if I could break a cycle, so can you. But it takes a lot of therapy. It takes a lot of research on how to reprogram your brain, how the color yellow affects your brain, how scent, lavenders, eucalyptus. I have an issue with being very angry, and it could come from nowhere. My daddy did the same thing. And I just remember growing up in a household where you had to walk on eggshells. It was, Mondays it was and still is my favorite day of the year. It's a new week. It's a new opportunities to put your best foot forward for that week. And it was the Mondays is when I got to get the hell out of the house and go to school. Fridays made me sick to my stomach. After school, knowing I had to come home. Because when you have a family of drug, alcohol, addiction, and mental health issues, it's exhausting. It's stomach churning. You never know what you're going to walk into. Right. Some days it could be, I bought you a brand new scooter for kids, and then the next day tables are flipped, mustard is slammed against the wall, stained into the roof. No shit. We've had more stains on our homes than ever. Doors broken off. It's like just a lot. And I just remember thinking, I know what I don't want to be. But I don't know what I want to be, because I don't have the guidance, right? But I know without a shadow of a doubt what I don't want to end up like. So that was kind of my goal there, is to speak about addiction and mental health. When I was active duty, I lost my father to addiction. So he overdosed, and all my siblings, and I got family members who struggle with all of this. I'm not a counselor, but I have just been around so much that there's a lot of mental health issues, and the drugs and alcohol just kind of make it better, or It calms them down, or which it just, obviously the ending is not the best. That's just not the best choice.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know any different. They don't know to talk about it. They don't know to say, hey, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
Today, right now, I'm fucked up and I need help. Instead, they hold it in and they grab another bottle, or they do another drug to get them through that 24 hours. Well, how can we change that? How can we take that 24 hours, make one different choice every day until you reprogram your brain on the way that you think and how you're going to respond to the next outburst? So now, even me being 34, 2 kids, how I respond to that is different. Growing up, it was flipped tables, broken glasses, pulled hair. But for me now, it's okay. Extra deep breaths, calming down, getting some sunshine, drinking some water, and meditation. And, I never thought like that. Right. I've never seen my family do that. I was never taught how to respond like that. Right. But I did the work. And I could keep going in therapy. I going to counseling. First admitting that I got a fucking problem. I don't want my marriage to be like my mom and dad's. I don't want to be the parent that my mom and dad was. I want to break the cycle and hope that my kids do the same going forward.
Wow, yeah, and I know breaking the cycle, when I've heard past interviews of yours, that's something that always stuck out to me. Breaking the cycle, which is... It's hard to do, but I love that you're spreading awareness. And like you said, people give you that cliche, it's okay to not be okay. It's all right to be fucked up. We're all a little bit fucked up. Just acknowledge it, and that's when you can kind of start to move forward a little bit. So to kind of pivot off of that, obviously that is a big part of your life. I'd like to talk about something that was a big part of your life. It was your time with the WWE. Obviously, you've talked about how you weren't sitting on me mom and Peepaw's lap watching pro wrestling. But and we all kind of know how you got into pro wrestling. But when did it really click that, hey, you know what? This might be a career for me, not just, as you've said before, fucking around on the weekends.
Honestly, I never looked at it as a longevity career. It was really cool. It was an awesome experience, and it was an incredible opportunity, one that I'm very and will always be very thankful for. It was great, loved it, but it's not for everybody. You know, when I first went into WWE, my mindset was, you know, there are so many people that I could reach. My platform is going to be bigger. There's going to be conversations that I'll be able to have on national television, you know, raise awareness. But that stuff doesn't make you money.
Right.
You know, and I learned that pretty quick. It was like pulling freaking teeth to be able to talk about addiction on live television.
Yeah.
In fact, I fought it for 7 years. I wanted to have that conversation of, you know, this is where I come from and this is who I became, and anybody could do it.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter where you come from. You get to decide where you go. And but that doesn't make them money. Addiction, depression, mental health, that's not where they get their fat ass checks from.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was like, it just got really depressing because it was like, you know, I did the Ric Flair stunt, and you know, it just, that's what made, you know, and I get it completely. And it definitely, I invested, bought multiple houses, you know, started my whole investment career. But it's just like, eventually it got to the point where obviously the travel, and I'm a mom first and foremost. I homeschool my girls. Got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? You know, and you feel guilty. It's like you feel really guilty because you're surrounded by people who love this business.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I went through tables, I got hit with chairs, I got power bombed off ladders, anything they needed from me. Hey, you want me to grind on Ric Flair's old man parts on a Friday night? Noted. Whatever they needed, I did, you know. But it just got to the point where I'm like, you know, I just miss that life, you know. I miss the slower lives. I miss my garden. I miss my chickens. I miss not having to live like this anymore. You know, I was lucky to cook my family dinner one night a month. I mean, that's crazy to me. I'm a mom, damn it. I'm a wife. I'm a good fucking mom and wife. And the fact that I could not even, now I could make my husband plates in catering.
Right.
You know, I made sure his plates were made before I went out there and went through the damn tables. Made sure my baby's mouths were wiped and they were, you know, fed and homeschooled before I jumped off the ladders. But like, I was like, man, it's like you can't have those conversations, you know? So I just, within the last 2 years, roughly, I started, you know, creating this cafe.
Right.
And then when I asked for my release, you know, well, we'll get back to you. You know, it's the same thing. Hey, I got a storyline idea. I'll get back to you. Hey, I want to get the fuck out of here. I'll get back to you. Like, and that was a hard thing to do because, like I said, money was decent, you know, and it was awesome to be able to take my family all over the world. But like, I'd rather be with my boots on and chicken shit and cooking bacon in the morning for my babies. And I felt guilty because there were so many people that could have my position.
Right.
That love wrestling, that love WWE, and could give more, you know, because my mindset and was like, okay, husband's fed, babies are taken care of, homeschool's done. All right, so let me go out there and do this match. And it's like, it should not be that way, you know, especially when you have such an awesome opportunity with such a huge, incredible company. So, and they knew it, you know, they knew it from my first interview, you know, when they asked me, if you weren't with WWE, I'll never forget, where would you be? And I told them, without skipping a beat, that I'd be barefoot and fucking pregnant. I'd have a lot of babies. So, you know.
So that must have been, and I've heard, like I said, I've heard you speak on it in past interviews, so I'm not going to ask you again, but I know you kind of enjoyed being the sassy Southern Belle more so in your career, but that had to be a silver lining because you talk about how you didn't really get to get your message out.
Yeah.
But when you came back as, I guess they were trying to make you babyface Lacey.
Yeah, which they've tried a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, they were really pushing babyface
Yeah.
Lacey, and they were letting you talk about addiction.
And that took 7 years to be able to do.
Right.
7 years.
Was that a highlight for you in your career?
That was the best thing I've ever done. I am so glad that when they finally let me go, that will forever. There will be people, because if you knew how many messages I got from kids and parents, I mean, which mission fucking accomplished. I am so glad that I got to, because it'll forever, those promos will forever be out there, and I know that there are babies and parents that are going through that and realizing that it don't matter where you come from. You keep on freaking going. You do not let that stuff dictate who you become or what you can do, or or don't fall into that trap, that negative mindset of, well, this is who I am, this is where I come from, this is what I'm going to be. Bullshit. Don't do it. So that was the coolest thing. But honestly, by that point, I was checked out. Yeah. It sounds terrible, because WWE is freaking awesome. What a cool job. If you ever have an opportunity to do it unless you want babies, because you also have to have a six-pack at all times, and not really, but you know what I'm saying? You got to be in shape, and so, but no, I'm glad. I wouldn't change a freaking thing. I'm very blessed.
That's so awesome. I knew once you said that, I knew that would be a highlight. What do you think your legacy is? Obviously, you didn't spend that much time in WWE. It was a cup of coffee, if you will, really in the grand scheme. What do you think your legacy is as Lacey Evans? What do you want to be remembered for in a wrestling context?
Just how cool it is that somebody can go through so much and still make it. Just remember that, if I can do it, so can you. And it doesn't have to be as a wrestler, just as a human being. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to get on drugs. You don't have to, you could create the best life in the world, and raise babies that are happy, and have a marriage that lasts. I've been with my husband since I was 15, got married at 19, and we are more in love and have the best days ever. I never had that growing up. And so that's what I want to be remembered as somebody who didn't give a single fuck, did exactly what she wanted, and did it sober, and did it happy, and broke the cycle.
That's tremendous. So, being the Fans View podcast, I always want to ask a couple questions, because I know the marks are watching. I am a mark. Nasties, I know. This is a divisive issue, and I've asked professional wrestlers in the past, so I really want your opinion. You traveled all over the country. Obviously, I want to say it was towards the end, but somewhere in there you eventually moved to the camper instead of flying everywhere, and being with the family. But when you were going through the airports, what is your take on the marks in the airports?
They never bother me, as much as y'all would like to believe that I was just this raging heel. I'm very appreciative of all of them, marks included. Because a lot of people don't realize it drove me nuts. But I also grew up from nothing, poor.
Right.
So it's the same people that are paying our bills and buying our stuff and showing up to these events and buying these tickets and keeping this locomotive running is standing out here, and all they want is some kind of reaction, a signature. And so very rarely did I ever not, give them what they wanted. I mean, obviously I'd give them attitude, because I'm a heel. I'm the sassy Southern belle, and y'all are nothing but nasty things. But me personally, never bothered me. As long as you don't touch my kids or look at them too long, I'm good. Don't. So, and me and my husband had we were on the same page. We had a game plan at all times, 360 with our kids and how we moved and what we did. And so, yeah, they never bothered me. I love to see excited human beings who are probably going through hell in their life, and this is their one escape. Y'all keep coming. I hope that other superstars acknowledge you guys. Rather, it has to be in heel form, babyface, doesn't matter. Yeah. And are thankful for what you guys do for this business or that business. And but it never bothered me personally. The only thing is my kids.
Right. So just be respectful, and you were good with it. That's fair. That's how I've always kind of looked at it, but not everybody feels that way. To try to start to round this thing off, there's two things I have to ask you about. It's the elephant in this beautiful cafe, Sergeant Slaughter. How much of that, now in retrospect, was legitimate heat? how much of it was the old timer maybe working an angle, trying to?
Fuck if I know. I mean, I didn't watch that old timer back in his wrestling days, but I know that if you run your mouth about something that my job or what I'm dictated to do, don't be shocked if I come back and say some shit,
Right.
But with as it is in that business, it's all it's all talk and what is it, clicks and trending or what, with none of that I never followed,
You're so
or
beautifully disconnected. It's so
oh,
endearing.
it's insane. I'm out, barefoot and horse shit, shoveling stuff and having a fire and raising my kids. I promise you there was a very small percentage. And honestly, the only times that I really knew if something was trending, I'd get a call from WWE saying, "Can you take that down? You're really pissed off Cardi B," or whoever, and I'm just like, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere enjoying my life, and you're calling me with this bullshit, And that was another thing, not to dive back into, what it is, but yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely but how it is, you don't know everything.
Right.
You don't realize what WWE spoke to him about and brought him in, and and I don't know if he just felt he was too old or just didn't want to. I don't know, and I don't give a shit because my titties were sitting pretty, and I was young as hell. I had a 6-pack, and but I was checked out. So
Yeah.
either way, and I'm not gonna put a lot of time into figuring out the reasons why. I just don't run your mouth about shit either you don't know or that you can't back up, including his daughter, Trenchable. Because I'm still here, sister.
Oh, beautiful. So I guess my part B to that was you've done a couple conventions. I'm sure you've run across them. Has there ever been any resolution or any discussion?
I ain't been hit yet, and I ain't run across them to hit nobody. So once again, how much time do I? Okay, I get a check. I got to be there, and then I'm going home, back to my farm. I'm gonna go back to my kitchen where I belong.
So as far as you're concerned, that is dead and gone. No resolution needed.
He's about there as well. Like, what am I doing, brother? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I've said my piece. And honestly, it doesn't. That shit don't keep me up at night.
That's fair.
Only
That's
my
fair.
husband does on them good nights. You know what I'm saying?
Subscribe to the Fan Time, guys.
Hey,
Cheap plug.
link in the bio.
And of course, I have to ask you. I don't really even want to ask you, but I have to. Vince, obviously, after you left, some shit popped off. Does it surprise you?
I mean, once again, the whole dirt sheet stuff. Like, I don't follow any of that.
Right.
It's everything in me to create content as it is. I'm not one to. I just don't. As soon as we leave here, I'm going back out to the farm to go ride my horse and raise my kids and fucking have a good day. But I guess it doesn't, just because I just know how the wrestling world is.
Yeah.
I know how the click, it's all about clicks and
Yeah.
lines. What I do know for a fact, right, is what I know about Vince McMahon, the moments that I've spent with him, both privately, professionally, and that dude is fucking awesome. I would have him as a boss any day of the week. He was privately just a good, almost like a dad, very respectful, very honest. He was a fucking man. And that's hard, that's hard to find nowadays anywhere. But no, I just, I have my opinions and my beliefs and how I carry myself around other men and in a business such as this too. And I've never had a problem with him or, most people.
I mean, that's fair enough. That's all you can say. I mean, he was good to you. He treated you with respect. So
yeah, and my family.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
my family. That he's done some pretty cool shit for me, financially, in the business. I've got to go on a jet with him, and obviously with a handful of people. And every time he's just been nothing but respectful and a man, and you could tell he's just a man, and you can't expect many real men to fall to their knees. And I don't know.
yeah. Well, that's good, because if you just watch the media coverage, he's a monster. He's a pig. And I'm sure he might be some of those things in some facets, but at the same time, he is a human being. People start to lose track of that.
Yeah, he's never done anything like that with me, to me, around me. And he's never, and I would tell you straight up, he's never even given me the slightest, but that's me, you know,
Right.
and everybody's, time in that business is different. Same thing with this man sitting next to me. I'm not, I don't come off as you have even the slightest chance to even touch me, much less look at me too long. You know?
Yeah,
I've been with my
absolutely.
husband since I was 15. Don't fuck with me. We have this conversation, I leave.
Right.
You will never get my cell phone number. We will never have. So it just depends on who you are and how you carry yourself and what you end up getting in. But I've always been that way.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up. I got 2 more questions for you. Everybody always says, and I know you'll cut the shit. Everybody always says, well, never say never. You know, maybe. Has Lacey Evans probably taken her last bump?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Because I'm a straight fucking shooter. Ooh.
Gun to your head. If you had
Yeah.
to,
No,
obviously, well, not gun to your head,
Shit,
but
I'll disarm you in a heartbeat. No, I don't think so. Because I hear this all the time on social media, like it was not her passion. But that doesn't mean that I didn't like going through tables. It like the action part, the hard hitting, like in a perfect world, if I could just get a phone call, hey, we're having a last woman standing, like this is, do you expect to be blood? Fucking call me. But it was the other stuff that I was just like, God, dog, you know. That's what I like. I loved the hard hitting. If I didn't come home with like, you know, and injuries is a whole nother topic. Like my body is like incredible. I know. Very thankful for my life.
again, link in bio, fan time.
Oh yeah. Hey, I meant like soreness wise, you know, I have no sciatic issue, you know, because that's all it is in that business. But yeah, so I'm very thankful for getting to experience it. If the right opportunity, right person, I don't know, so my daughter's 12. If in the next few years she decided to, I'd go out and I would whoop her ass. I think that would be like the best back, you know, at 18. If she wanted, which I don't force her to do, you know, whatever she wants to do, as long as she gives it her all. But if she wanted, I mean, if it was her passion or if she did like it and, you know, and didn't have to be, because I was scouted. I had no idea.
Right.
It's not something that I followed and, you know, sent in, like I didn't do any of that. So if she decided to get into it, because she'll be 13 in September, so she just turned 12, but like in the next 5 years, if she ended up sliding in, I would make sure that her mama came out and introduced her to freaking pro wrestling.
Yeah,
And I would give it hell.
I mean, about 3 months' time, there's this cool thing happening in Indianapolis that they could call you for one night only. You know, it's this Royal Rumble thing. I don't know. I'm just, you know, just a Fans View podcast. We're just putting it out there. You know, you can watch the chicken shit off. You know, head to Indianapolis. Just a thought.
Or keep it on either way. You know?
Yeah, or keep it on.
A
Hey, we
good
got a
old
new
chicken shit boot to
we
the
got a
face.
new gimmick. Chicken shit heel, chicken shit boots. I love it. See, you are a worker at heart. So to round this up, I asked the same 2 questions to everybody. This is the Fans View podcast. When you're not covered in chicken shit or in a wrestling ring or making coffee, what are you a fan of?
Probably like mental health stuff. So like, I know all 3 of those is definitely well, not all 3, but the coffee shop is a big mental health thing of mine. The chicken shit farm, but gardening, plants, family. Realizing that one day you're going to look back and you only had one life. So do everything that you want to do and make sure that it's something healing within. Because even if you didn't have a hard childhood, life is hard. And take it every 24 hours at a time. And that's what I do. You know, mental health wise, what can I do in 24 hours, including when I leave here, to have the best day inside, mentally, emotionally, And I take that very, very serious. So I don't let nobody, especially getting out of WWE and realizing that crazy fast-paced life where you have no control and they tell you exactly what to do and they tell you what to say and they tell you what to delete and they tell you where to go and they tell you when to go. And then, no, I don't let nobody fuck with my 24 hours. Every 24 hours, and I start all over the next day. And if I don't let nobody fuck with me no more. They not the way that I think, not the things that I do. My 24 hours for the rest of my life will be exactly how I want them to be. And then I do another 24 hours. And I take that very, 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 very seriously. And it's crazy how just in the past, I mean, I've been out of WWE for what, a year?
A year, yeah.
Best 12 months of my life. Whatever 24 hours times 12 is, because I just, and I'm very thankful for WWE. It was awesome. But I was not the one that went to bed at night losing sleep over this passion. And I knew that there was so many people that could take my place and give it everything. Because the whole time I just wanted to give my marriage everything and give my babies everything and give my, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that it's...
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So to finish this up, the most important question I think I'll ask you is, at this point in your life, post WWE, what does success look like to you? What does it mean to you to be successful?
Being happy. Being able to wake up and look around and just feel happiness from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. And that's so achievable. I make great money, me and my husband both, on the link in the bio, Fan Time. But we love it. I mean, it makes us happy. We love what we do. Success is we get excited about, ooh, what are we doing? Like, what am I wearing? Help me pick out, Daddy, help me pick out what, and we just love our life. And so success is to me is happiness. Because the money's good, but like we love what we're doing.
Right.
Like WWE money was great.
Yeah.
Not as good as today, but we legitimately love what we do every day. So to me, success is happiness. Like, how are you feeling inside every day, every 24 hours? If you can achieve that from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, and be able to have that mindset and those affirmations and the gratitude that within that 24 hours to realize, okay, this is my life. This is what it is, or this is what it's going to be, because I'm going to make it that. And you can achieve that feeling of gratitude and happiness, and that to me is success. And I think I'm pretty damn successful because it's been, I have to pinch myself every day.
I would agree that you're successful just from an outsider's perspective. You seem happy. I actually met you in the airport once before, and not that you didn't seem happy then, but you just have this glow about you now. Obviously, I'm a local. I've been in this coffee shop. I've seen you back there behind the counter. So I know I want to speak for everybody on the other side of that camera and just wishing you just all the best. I'm so glad you're happy. We hope to see you back in the ring one day, even if it's for one night only. And I just want to thank you so much for your time. This was months in the making. I know you're a busy woman.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Guys, go bother her on social media. Where can people get to you on socials?
Limitless Macey on Instagram. And I don't know what my Twitter is because I've been... I've been too happy lately. And then obviously 18 or older, I got my Fan Time where we have lots of fun. We do live chats, come hang out, have some fun. And I'll be chatting all day right now because,
Heck yeah.
Yeah, 24 hours a day, honey.
And if you're in Beaufort, South Carolina, if you're in Charleston, surrounding areas, come on by Sunny Summers Cafe. The coffee's good. Again, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The donuts are amazing. Mm-hmm. Come show her some support. She gave us years of entertainment. The least you can do is come buy a donut. But until next time, guys, I'm Jarrett with the Fans View Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Sorry if that ran a little bit longer.
No, you're good. I need to leave this on, yeah, for